The iconic Christmas stamps and dies, of course, are exactly like the name says, iconic. Those are the images that you always see around the holidays. Candy canes, ornaments, Christmas trees, and of course this turnabout functions on its own to create you some really beautiful backgrounds. And the standalone die can be used again as a standalone or a coordinating die. So you can use these two products separately or together, and they function really great on their own as well as together. In the die set, you get an ornament, Christmas tree, stars. Don't forget this is actually the toe and heel and top of the sock or the stocking, snowflakes, berries, and a candy cane. So to get started on the turnabout, you're going to grab your transfer sheet and you're going to place your stamp face down, so stamp side down on top of the transfer sheet. In order to line this up perfectly, be sure to stand up to get a bird's eye view. You're going to grab your jig, insert it into your MISTI, and line up the two X's that are on the transfer sheet and one is on the jig. Remove the transfer sheet after closing the door, and you're all ready to get turning. You're going to need a piece of cardstock, and I always use some removable adhesive to keep it in place on my jig. And the jig has perforated lines already there for you so you can keep everything in place. There are numbers in the top right corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, for the 4 times you have to turn the stamp in order to get it to stamp properly. Now I went ahead with 4 different colors, so I'm using parsley, cranberry, evergreen, and then I decided my 4th color, I was going to heat emboss it in gold to make it extra special. It's going to look like that really high quality, expensive pattern paper you can buy at a craft store, but you make it yourself. So that's really cool. Don't forget to clean your stamp, of course, in between each of the colors so you don't get any muddy colors. So you're going to stamp once, turn, clean, stamp again, and then you're going to use the different colors. I also recommend if you're going to use 2 shades of the same color, for example, I used a medium and a dark green, that you leave one of the turns in between as a different color. It'll help break things up a little bit on the background. So you'll notice I put cranberry during my 2nd turn. Now, if you're also interested in giving heat embossing a try with these, all you need to do is one of the layers, you are going to stamp that using some Versamark ink or embossing ink, and then add some embossing powder and you're ready to go. Just make sure, of course, that when you're doing this, that the ink for the other 3 colors have dried completely. If not, you're going to get embossing powder all over the place. So once I'm finished heat embossing that, you'll see here this is the finished background. It looks really great. It's quite busy, so if it's too busy for your card making style, go ahead and give it a die cut and it will look really great as well and a little more subtle. You don't have to use the whole background on your cards. As for those iconic die cuts, you can grab some metallic paper or even just some plain cardstock and then run it through your die cutting machine. I used 4 different colors and it cut out all of the different die cuts with no issue. To give you an idea of the different die cuts, you can cut the Christmas tree on its own for a solid Christmas tree, or there's a die there that allows you to add ornaments. And if you lay them on top of each other, then of course you have a Christmas tree full of Christmas lights or Christmas ornaments, which is super fun. There is also a little star die included that you can add to the top of the tree. The stocking comes, of course, with all the adornments, so you can go ahead and add the top of the stocking, that little fur piece, the heel, as well as the toe to your stocking. So that makes it really realistic looking and, of course, adds all the die cuts you need. So all of them are actually located within the die. When you're cutting them apart, you'll notice all of these 3 pieces are inside the stocking just to keep it easy so you know where they're for. The ornament comes with the metal topper, of course, and you could use the cranberries separately or you can add them to decorate the ornament. It's up to you. The candy cane also comes with the striped area as well as solids, so again, use them separately if you like, but of course you can layer them one on top of the other to get that classic white and red look, or in my case, I used red and silver. There are a few pieces to create your own little pieces of holly here as well with some berries. And the snowflake and the star just simply go together as standalone. There's nothing to layer or add. So here's a final look at this card here. You can add any of the little symbols that you just created or icons to create some really great cards. This is a super clean and simple one on a white background, which looks really great in my opinion and shows that this die can stand alone, or of course you can add it with some of the backgrounds.